Dating and relationships are more challenging for gay men than any other cultural group. Gay men over the age of 45 are more likely to be single than any other cultural group. And after working and speaking with thousands of gay men over the last 8 years, I've also seen just an extremely high rate of gay men in long-term relationships settling in sexless marriages, settling where they feel like they're not wanted or desired or appreciated. If you are a gay man who is feeling alone, who's feeling unwanted, who's feeling unvalued, who's feeling overlooked or underappreciated, whether you're single or in a relationship, whether you're single and attracting emotionally unavailable men, or if you're in a long-term relationship and you feel like you're the one who's putting in most of the effort. You've been making excuses for him, you've been overlooking it, but sometimes you lay in bed at night thinking, is this all that there is? If you fit in either of those categories, first, I want you to know that you are not alone, that you are experiencing what so many gay men all over the world are experiencing. Most of the gay men that I talk to and most of the gay men that I've worked with were experiencing before coming to me. And I want you to know that this video is for you. My desire is for you to have more insight and more awareness of why you keep falling into these patterns. Why, no matter how hard you try, no matter what you do, you still find yourself getting the short end of the stick. Well, it's not because you're broken. It's not because there's something wrong with you. It's not because you're not good enough or not attractive enough or too old or any of the not enoughs. It's because of something that's much deeper. And in this video, I really want to help you understand exactly what it is that is causing you to keep feeling this level of disconnection and feeling unwanted and undesired and unprioritized. And even more specifically, helping you understand exactly what you can do to break out of this pattern once and for all. And I want to preface that there's no quick fix, there's no magic pill, there's no one video or weekend workshop that can just wipe this all away, but I do want to help you have more clarity because after working exclusively with gay men over the last 8 years with my husband Andrew, as the co-owners and co-founders of Gay Men Thriving, I have a really clear idea of why so many gay men fall into this pattern and what they can do to break out of it. So first off, if you find yourself in these patterns, it's not because you're not smart enough or not good enough. So to best help you understand the root cause of what's causing you to keep finding yourself in these one-sided dynamics or to find yourself endlessly single and not understanding why the guys you want don't seem to return interest or why you find yourself in relationships where you feel like you're the one putting in all the effort and feeling taken for granted and taken advantage of. Well, there's a common denominator, and it's not because you haven't met the right guys yet. It's not because you just haven't been at the right place at the right time. It's not because of how you look. It's not because of the things that most of us believe are the problem. Most gay men come to me thinking they just don't know where to meet men, or they don't know how to talk to their partner, or they don't know how to reignite the spark in their relationship, and they believe they need to look better, try harder, be better, be smarter, be more available, be more accommodating. They think they need to have deeper talks with their partner and communicate more clearly what they're thinking and feeling. They think they need to have those deep conversations or drag their partner to therapy. The single gay men are all about thinking they need to look hotter, they need to just be more. And this really is at the root of the actual problem. Because for 99% of these guys, these very efforts is what is causing this disconnection. It's this trying so hard when you don't even realize that you're doing it is how the other guy is feeling when he's with you. The single guys out there, when you show up this way, they can feel that you're trying really hard. They can tell that you're just really trying to be who you think they want you to be, and that is not what secure gay men are looking for. And in relationships, when you show up this way, you're training your partner to expect you to always be this way. You're teaching him that he doesn't have to try. You're teaching him that you're the one that's going to put in all the effort. No matter how many talks you have, when he sees you operating in this way, this overgiving, self-sacrificing, people-pleasing type of energy, it's not only causing these guys to overlook you and take you for granted, but it's killing their desire for you. If this is the dynamic and you're in a relationship, your partner might act like he appreciates all of your generosity and all of your kindness, and it might make you feel valuable and important for a little while, but you're probably also noticing that he's not really big on returning the favor, that he's not feeling compelled to reciprocate. And if you're being really honest with yourself, even though you have a big heart and you love giving, you know that you want to feel that back. You know deep down that you want it to feel reciprocated. And there's nothing wrong with you for wanting that. But you excusing him and overlooking his lack of effort isn't doing the relationship any favors. In my experience working with gay men over the last 8 years, I've noticed this pattern. It showed up in my relationship with Andrew. And in fact, it took quite a while for us to really understand what was happening and to break out of this dynamic, because he was the one, like you, overgiving, trying so hard. And this has historically been what was going on in his previous relationships as well. And at first it felt great. I loved feeling prioritized. I loved feeling like he wanted to put me first, and that really just felt amazing. And after a while, it just really started to eat away at my desire for him. His overgiving, his trying so hard, him putting my needs above his own. After a while, it really taught me to just kind of lean back and feel like I didn't have to try. It taught me that I could take him for granted and expect him to always be this way. And even though he would often let things build up to a point where he would reach a breaking point and then communicate to me what he needed and what he wanted from me, looking back, I can see where I really didn't take him seriously, because I saw him consistently overgiving and being overly apologetic and trying so hard, and I just started to see him as this pushover. I still loved him, but what once felt like this passionate spark, this fiery romance where we couldn't keep our hands off each other in the beginning, it eventually felt more like we were roommates that really cared about each other. I loved him, and I did appreciate him and value him, but not at the level that I should have. And I'm not blaming Andrew for this dynamic, but I want to help you as the one who is overgiving, self-sacrificing, trying so hard, trying to be who you think he wants you to be. This is what Andrew was doing. And this behavior, this is what we call caregiver energy. And it's the energy that you project. It's the energy that you give off when you have fear of losing the other person, and it makes you really do whatever you can to try to keep the relationship intact. It's coming from a fear of not wanting to be alone, fear of not feeling valued and prioritized or wanted or desired by the other person. This fear is actually what causes you to be more likely to be alone. This is the fear that causes you to be more likely to not be desired or valued or appreciated by your partner. And that's exactly what happened in our dynamic. Your energy is the most common, most dominant factor that determines how people feel when they're with you. And it's far more important than what you look like or how much money you make or how tall you are or how big your dick is or anything like that. Your energy is what determines how people feel when they're with you more than any other factor. And when your energy is coming across as, I will sacrifice myself to make you happy, let me know how I can make you happy, let me know how I can prioritize you, let me know what I can do so you will want me, how do you think that makes the other person feel? You come across as needy and clingy and as a man who doesn't respect himself. And that is the problem. It's not that you haven't met the right guy. It's the energy that you're showing up with when you're interacting with these guys. And I understand what the statistics are like. Gay dating is tough. We are already a minority. There's a very small percentage of gay men compared to straight guys and straight women. It's growing and things are becoming more fluid, but there's a lot of gay men at different stages of self-acceptance and coming out who maybe are looking to get their sexual fix but aren't looking for a long-term relationship. So we're just bombarded by a lot of challenges when it comes to building a long-term, lasting, meaningful relationship. When you look at percentages, men make up half the population, and of that 50%, about 5% are gay men. And when you look at that 5% of the population, it seems like there's just a fraction of that might be your type, could be local or someone that you can connect with, that aligns with your values and your desires, that you could actually have chemistry and a spark with. It seems like the odds are just so stacked against us. And so most gay men, when we meet someone that we really like, no matter how much of a confident facade we try to put off, no matter how much we try to act like we have our shit together, we're often getting attached to trying to make it work when we finally meet a guy that we really like, when we feel like the odds are stacked against us. And that's what really makes it so much harder. That's when these old survival patterns from childhood, where we felt abandoned and judged and rejected from an early age just for being ourselves. Gay men have learned better than any other culture how to pretend and how to put on a show and how to try to read the room and be hyper vigilant of our mannerisms, of the words we choose. We're just really programmed to overthink. It came from a survival. Like, it helped me survive when I was a little boy, when I could tell I was very different and I was getting picked on and bullied and beat up just for being myself. It taught me I need to be different to be loved. That is the same mechanism that gets triggered when you meet a guy that you really like and the stakes feel high and you're aware that we're in a world where it seems like there's not a lot of options. It seems like there's not a lot of choices. And especially as we get older and we feel like we don't fit that mold, that's when it becomes really, really easy for us to feel like we have to adjust and try and earn his love and try so hard. That's what Andrew did, and it caused me to take him for granted and to not desire him. This is what so many single gay men do. They try so hard when they meet a guy that they really like. Or when you're in a relationship, you find someone that seems to check enough of the boxes, you rationalize staying in unhappy, unhealthy relationships because at least you're not single. It makes you afraid to rock the boat. It makes you afraid to step up for yourself and communicate what you want and what you really need on the onset, not after you let it build up to a breaking point, but it makes you afraid to be your true self, which is what's required for you to have a healthy, thriving, passionate, long-term relationship. When Andrew finally realized that no matter how hard he tried or what he did, it didn't seem to make an impact, I just expected more, took more, and appreciated him less and less. Eventually got to a point where I wanted to start having sex with other people. I felt not much passion or pull towards him, and I just thought maybe this is what happens in long-term relationships. And so it made me want to start exploring meeting other men because I wanted to feel alive. I believe I have one life in this one body, and I wanted to experience that pleasure and that lust and that desire that I wasn't feeling in the bedroom with Andrew. And so it started out with me jerking off with guys in steam rooms at the gym, eventually talking with him about wanting to open our relationship, and before you knew it, I was dating other guys on Grindr and Hinge and Tinder and just really chasing that thrill. Andrew, realizing this wasn't doing anything for our connection, he started making some really significant changes. This is when he really recognized this pattern within himself. And he had worked with many coaches and mentors. He had probably spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on different coaching programs, working with different spiritual mentors and gurus and relationship coaches and business coaches and just all of it, you name it. He's been a personal growth junkie for a long time, and I think this is when he finally realized that he was the common denominator in all of his relationships, which had also been where he felt overlooked and taken for granted and underappreciated and undesired. And that's when he started looking more within. And in all these programs that he had been a part of, they had all given him a piece of the puzzle, but never the full package, never the full strategy, the full game plan of how to break out of this caregiver energy and what to do instead. And that's when he started really looking within himself and started making some very significant changes. It wasn't a light switch because there was a lot of trial and error, but overall what started happening was, while I was out trying to fuck all these other guys, Andrew was really learning how to find joy without needing other people's approval or validation. He learned how to start filling his cup and really start healing the parts of himself that craved feeling needed by other people. He started really looking within and really healing the parts of himself, those old core wounds from childhood that made him so afraid of rejection and judgment, that had made him fall into this caregiver energy and silence his needs and bottle things up and walk on eggshells and not prioritize himself and not respect himself. And he started building this deep level of self-trust. He started doing a lot of different things to really be able to build that really solid sense of self, that self-worth. He learned how to stand up to his inner critic, that voice in his head that kept telling him that he wasn't good enough or not sexy enough or not smart enough. And I just saw him start honoring himself in a way that he had never really done in our relationship. And when I would say something rude or unkind or call him a name, instead of letting it build up, he would speak to me immediately about it and in a calm, collected way say, "Zach, I'm not available to be talked to this way." And so on top of me seeing him having fun without me and like building this like really rich life, this independent gay man that he was becoming was someone that I started to see very differently. Instead of this pushover doormat that he had once been to me, someone that I thought would always be there no matter what, I could see him just really with gravity again. It was like he was standing in his power in a way that I had never seen. And that's when I realized that if like the complacency that I felt was no longer going to work, and if I didn't make some changes to match his energy in this higher, more empowered, independent, thriving frequency, I could just tell that he wasn't going to wait around for me. He definitely wasn't going to keep supporting me and taking care of me and excusing my childish, selfish behavior. But it wasn't just the fear of losing him. It was seeing him step into this new empowered energy that really changed the way I saw him in a way that made me desire him in a way that I never had before. Suddenly, this doormat had turned into this strong, sexy, bold, empowered man that I couldn't stop thinking about. And rather than pursuing the guys on Grindr and Hinge, I wanted to pursue my husband. And that's when I realized I had some deep internal work that I had to do to be an energetic match for him in this new dynamic that he had initiated in our relationship. Where before it was his caregiver energy fueling my taker energy and vice versa. The more he gave, the more I took. And the less I gave, the more he gave. It just was this balancing act where our energies were a match. When he started making this change and stepping into his king energy with a lot of trial and error, but really holding that consistently, my taker energy was no longer a match. And I knew that I had to make significant changes, and that's when I did. That's when I started doing my own deep work to figure out, where was I not feeling whole and complete within myself? Where was I having fears of taking responsibility for myself? Where was I letting myself be selfish and entitled? And I had a lot of deep inner work to do as well. And that's when I started hiring even more coaches and mentors and gurus to help me find my strength and my sovereignty. But once I did, it was like we had built a whole new relationship. It was like the old version of our relationship had been burned down. And it was like a phoenix rising from the ashes, because now both of us being in our king energy, which Andrew led the charge. Like, if he hadn't made those changes, I don't know where we would be today. Probably not together, because the relationship was unsustainable and it was just getting worse and worse. But because he made that change within himself, it created the space for me to rise into my king energy. And today we have the most passionate, most vibrant, most thriving, reciprocal, balanced relationship that I could have ever imagined. It's like, when you're sick, you don't realize how sick you are until you are well, until you're better, and then you can know by contrast, like, whoa, I was really sick. It's like that. It's like, I didn't realize how empty I felt and how much I was chasing things outside of me, dicks and other men and other things to make me happy, that never quite did, because I never quite got that fill of what I wanted, which is what I'm experiencing now. Fulfillment and passion and a thriving connection with a man that I feel so connected to and so deeply in love with. And we've been together for nearly 10 years. And it feels like we're in the honeymoon phase. It feels like we can't keep our hands off of each other. The passion and the spark is stronger than ever before, whether I'm inside of him or whether he's inside of me. It's so much more than just physical penetration. It's like our souls are colliding. It's like this magnet pull that we feel towards each other. And what that is we have reignited the polarity in our relationship. Polarity isn't about opposites attract. It's not about masc fem, top, bottom, dom, sub, daddy, cub. It's about two distinct men stepping into their own uniqueness, their own individuality, not needing each other, but getting to choose each other and want each other. That's what creates that pull. But to have that, neither man can be shrinking into the relationship. Neither man can be sacrificing who he is and what he values and what he stands for. So if you're the one doing that in the relationship, you have all the power to shift the dynamic. And I wish it was as easy as just stop that shit. I wish it was as easy as stop overgiving, stop trying so hard, stop people pleasing, stop self-sacrificing, stop bottling things up. Because all of this, as I mentioned before, is deeply rooted from a society growing up in a world where we felt like we had to change who we are to be loved and accepted. That is deeply rooted in our subconscious. And it takes a specific process to get underneath it, to learn how to feel solid in who you are, to feel secure in who you are. Not just a mask. This isn't about pretending to be confident. This isn't about being dominant or being arrogant or just being louder. This isn't a performance. This is about embodiment. This is about learning how to step into what we call your king energy, which is the sexiest quality a gay man can possess. This is you owning who you truly are, who the fuck you truly are, unapologetically, with love and kindness and compassion, but you're never leaving yourself behind in the equation. You're not thinking to yourself, oh, it's just me. You learn how to prioritize yourself and your needs above all else, and that's what creates this balance that helps you attract the secure guys that are out there who want an equal partner, not a caregiver. And it also helps you restore the balance in your current relationship. This does not guarantee that your partner will step up when you step into your king energy, but you, when you step in your king energy, guarantee that your love life will get better. Because if your partner doesn't, you're not going to be available to stay in that dynamic. And you can guarantee that you're going to create a healthy dynamic in your future relationship. That's what Andrew did. He was on the path to having a thriving partnership with or without me. Let that sink in. This is what's possible for you when you learn how to own your king energy, when you learn how to truly step into your power. And this is what we help gay men do. If you'd like to learn more about how we specialize in helping gay men Break out of this overgiving caregiver energy that causes you to be overlooked, undervalued, and underappreciated. And learn how to step into your magnetic king energy so that you can truly radiate this powerful, sexy, self-respecting embodiment of the man that you truly are, the sexiest version of you. I invite you to type king in the comments below or click a link somewhere near this video, and someone on our team will reach out to help you learn more about how we've helped hundreds of gay men break out of these patterns of feeling like no matter how hard you try, nothing changes. We have a proven system, and I would love to support you and explore how we might be able to help. I invite you to schedule a chat with me or someone on the team. A no pressure, just honest conversation about if this is aligned with what you need at this time. This work isn't for everybody, but it could be for you. All right, I hope you found this helpful. Bye for now.